In this video, I'm going to transform Minecraft mobs into characters from the 3rd season of Squid Game. And in addition to that, I'm going to build a habitat for each one of them according to the setting of each game. So to start, behind each of these signs, there is a different character from the series. And the first character I'm going to transform is going to be Guhan with the baby. And the mob I chose to transform into Guhan is going to be the villager. However, I have to capture him to put him inside this transformation machine, because only then will I unlock his 3D model. And the good thing is that it's going to be very simple to find the villager, since I'm here inside a village and there's already a villager in front. So I'm going to take him in my hands and take him inside the transformation machine. Now I just have to click this button. And here is the 3D model of the villager. As you already know, I'm going to start by erasing all the parts of his body so nothing is left. And I'm going to start making Guhan from his foot. Create this cube to be the tip of the shoe. Now add a small detail at the bottom of the pants and make the rest of the leg. So I don't have to do everything again. I'm going to select all these parts and duplicate them to the side. On top of the legs, I'm going to create this cube to be the belly. Make another one on top to be the torso. Now I'm going to add a layer on top of each of these cubes to be the jacket of his suit. Of course, I can't forget the X from the vote and also the number 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to create a cube to be his left arm. Add one more small detail, select everything, and duplicate. I divided his head into 2 stages. The first is this one, which is the chin and the mouth. I'm going to create a slightly smaller cube to be the rest of his head. I'm going to create a layer on top to be the hair. Add the eyebrows, make one ear and the other. And finally, this is going to be the nose. Guhan's 3D model is almost ready. However, the baby is missing. So that's why I'm going to start by creating a cube here to be a piece of his body. Make a slightly smaller cube underneath. This is going to be the cloth around his head. And this other cube is going to be the face. To finish, I just need to add his number, which is 222. And this is how Guhan looked here in Minecraft, guys. Look how he turned out very similar to the character from the series. And as you can see, I even made the animation of him holding the baby. This turned out very well. For those who haven't watched the series yet, and I don't recommend children watching it, I put the Guhan I made in the first video, transforming the mobs into Squid Game next to it. And look at the comparison between the two. This one is much smaller. This is because I wanted to make it the same size as the player. As you can see, this one is a bit bigger. The Guhan from the 3rd season is the perfect size for the Minecraft player. But I really liked how all of this turned out, especially you can see that there was an evolution, especially in the 3D model. In this first character, I made it much simpler. In this other one, I even made the articulation of the arm. I also can't forget to say that his walking animation turned out very well. It's as if he's running with the baby. I really liked how this turned out, and that's why my score is 8 out of 10. Comment your opinion here below, because now I'm going to build a habitat for him. I'm here at my zoo, where I build the inhabitants of all the mobs I create. However, I'm not going to build the scenario here. In fact, I'm going to build it exactly in this place where I've recreated practically all the scenarios of all the characters I've already made from Squid Game. As you can see here, there's the guard. This is the frontman's room. This is a miniature of the red light, green light game, and this first one is the dormitory. However, to place Guhan with the baby, I'm going to recreate the scenario of the last game. So I'm going to start digging the hole in the ground, because I'm going to make the floor with black concrete. The walls I'm going to make with gray concrete to imitate the wall of the scenario. The roof I'm going to make with blue concrete, and I'm going to place some white glass panes, and this is going to imitate the sky. Now I'm going to try to imitate that circle where they have the last battle. So I'm going to place some red concrete, and at the ends, I'm going to place these stairs. The good thing about them is that I can literally camouflage any block. Look how this ladder is made of wood. If I click on it with concrete or red wool, I transform them into stairs. The scenario is almost ready. The only thing I have left to do is place this television here that will simulate the counter. And finally, I'm going to place this glass panel so Guhan doesn't escape. And this is the final result of our scenario. Despite being simple, I really liked it. And that's why my score is 7 out of 10. I even tried to recreate the depth effect with this black block, since this red circle should be a giant tower. But even so, my score for this scenario is 7 out of 10. Comment what you thought here below, because now we're going to transform the next character, who's going to be the new doll from the rope jumping game. And since he is very big, the mob I'm going to transform him into is going to be the Enderman. That's why I had to wait until nightfall, because it's easier for monsters to spawn. But there in front is the mob I need, which is the Enderman. So I just need to get close to him and pick him up and just put him inside the transformation machine. Click on this button. And this is the 3D model of the Enderman. So I'm going to start by erasing all the parts of his body. I'm going to start creating the character from the foot. Now make the leg, create 2 cubes to be the shorts. Now select everything and duplicate. On top of this, I'm going to make his torso, make the left arm. Below this, make some cubes to be the hand. So I don't have to do all of this again. I'm going to select these parts and duplicate them to the side. On top of the torso, I'm going to create a cube like this to be his head. Below it, I'm going to make the chin, make an ear, duplicate it to the side. Create a cube like this to be the cheek, and also duplicate it to the side. In the middle of the face, I'm going to make the nose, and on top of the head, I'm going to make the hair. To finish, I just need to make the cap he wears, and the doll's model is ready. ready. And this is how the Squid Game doll looked here in Minecraft, guys. He turned out very well. I even made his cheek, and I think that turned out very funny, not to mention he's life-sized. I made him much bigger than, for example, Guhan. This is because I wanted to make it as realistic as possible, and his texture turned out very cool. Look at that. I tried to replicate it as similar as possible. I think it turned out very similar, including the cap as faithful as possible too. The sneakers he wears are also very cool, and this animation of him running turned out even better. Comment here below in the comments what you thought of the 3D model and also the texture, because I think my score for this is definitely 9 out of 10. And now I want to clear up a doubt. Is the doll stronger than Guhan holding a baby? So let the battle begin. Look, the doll is running after Guhan, and Guhan doesn't stop running. Who do you think will win? Go doll, get close to Guhan. I think Guhan is going to escape, guys. Look, Guhan is going to run and he died. But in the series, of course, Guhan wins since he passes the rope jumping game. But now let's come here to our Museum of Inhabitants, where I'm going to build the scenario where the doll will be. And the idea I had is to recreate the scenario of the hide and seek game. And for that, I'm going to start by making the floor with gray concrete powder, because I think this block is very beautiful and it will match the scenario a lot. The walls, I'm going to make half of them with stone brick. From the middle to the ceiling, I'm going to make with dark blue concrete, and I'm going to use the same block to make the ceiling. To decorate this, I'm going to break some blocks from the wall to place the doors. And in this blue part, which represents the sky, I'm going to place several buttons for it to look like stars. Looking at this scenario, I think it turned out very beautiful, but I think it will look even better if I change these bottom blocks for this block here. I'm going to add one more layer with stone brick block. To finish, I'm going to place glass panes here in front, and this is how the final result of this scenario looked. And I liked it so much that my score for this is going to be 10. Comment what you thought here below in the comments. Because now the next character I'm going to transform here in Minecraft is going to be the guard. And for that, I had to come to this outpost to capture a pillager. And I have to be fast before some pillagers appear here and kill me. There's one right here, so I'm going to grab him. Good, I got him. Now I just have to run. Put him inside the transformation machine. Close this. Here is his 3D model. So I'm going to erase all the parts of his body like this. I'm going to start making the guard from the foot. Now, make the rest of the leg, add one more cube to the side to be the pants pocket. I'm going to select all these parts and duplicate them to the side. Create a cube on top to be half of his torso. Make the cube on top to be his chest. Now I'm going to create a cube to the side to be the arm. But I divided this into two parts. Between the clothes and his glove, I'm going to add a small detail here. And now I'm going to select everything and duplicate it to the side. In the left arm, I'm going to make him holding a weapon. So that's why I had to create several cubes like this, and the only thing left is the head. And I spent a few more minutes making the mask. And finally, the guard's 3D model is ready. And this is how the guard looked here in Minecraft, guys. This turned out very well. He even has the animation of him holding the weapon. This turned out amazing. I've made a guard before and he's much bigger than this one. However, as you can see, he is a circle. This other one is a triangle, and that's why he's holding a weapon. But I thought the triangle was much better, especially his mask, which seems to have depth. Not to mention that his body also turned out much better than the other one. Comment below which one you thought was better. This first one I made in my first video, transforming the mobs into Squid Game, or this other guard. In my opinion, this one is much better since he has articulation. And now I want to see which of the two is stronger, the doll or the guard. So I'm going to click on the guard, I'm going to click on the doll, and the two are going to start battling. Let's see who will win. And the guard lost, and once again the doll won. So now I'm going to create the habitat where the guard will stay. And the idea I had is to recreate the scenario of the sugar honeycomb game. So I'm going to start by building the sand floor. I'm going to make the 3 walls with smooth quartz block and even the ceiling. In the corner of the walls, I'm going to alternate between yellow, red, and blue fences to be very similar to the scenario. On the walls, I'm going to break some blocks and replace them with blue concrete powder. To be very similar to the series, I'm going to place some toys, and this is how the scenario turned out. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful I've ever built. Comment what you thought here below in the comments. Because now we're going to the next character I'm going to transform here, which is going to be the doll. And the best mob to transform her into is going to be the witch. Luckily, I found a completely destroyed witch house, and I just need to get her before she throws a potion at me. Oh no, she did. So grab her. Great, I managed to get to the transformation machine, put her inside and close it. And I got her 3D model, so I'm going to select all the body parts and erase them. And I'm going to start making the doll from the foot. On top of it, I'm going to make half of the leg and create another cube on top to make the rest. Now select everything and duplicate. To make her dress, I'm going to make a cube like this. Now, create another one on top, a little thinner until it reaches the torso. Here, I'm going to make half of the right arm to have articulation. I'm going to divide it into 2 pieces. I spent more time making the hand, so I don't have to repeat this again. I'm going to select everything and duplicate it to the side. Her head is going to be very similar to the doll's, so I'm going to create a cube like this. Make the hair on top, make 2 cubes to be the cheek, place an ear, make the chin below the mouth, and in the middle of the face, make the nose. To finish, I'm going to make her tied up hair. Select this and copy it to the side. And this is the final result of the doll. She turned out incredible. I especially liked how her hair and cheeks turned out. And the dress also turned out very similar. I don't know, but she seems to be the same doll from Red Light, Green Light, but with a different outfit. I've made her before and she looks very strange. I put the 2 side by side and you can see that this version is much better. The first version is much shorter than the new one. That's why I really like this version. I put the dolls side by side since they participate in the same game, and you can see that he is a little bigger, but even so, the 2 together looked very beautiful. Comment below the score you give this doll, because honestly, I think she is worth 10 out of 10. But before making the habitat for her, I want to have a battle between the doll and this doll, and let the battle begin. What is this? He is attacking her much faster. Look at that! Go doll! Beat him! Yeah, and he won again. But that doesn't matter, because now I'm going to make the habitat where she will be trapped, and I'm going to do it exactly in this place here. And the idea I had is to recreate the scenario of the rope jumping game. So I'm going to start by making the floor black to give that depth effect, since the game takes place in a very high place. To make the walls, I'm going to alternate between 3 colors. To make it a little more beautiful, I'm going to make a transition between the colors, and for that, I'm going to have to merge the blocks. Now, I'm going to make that small house that is behind the doll. But before that, I'm going to have to make the floor where she will be. For the wall of the house, I'm going to use this white block. I'm going to place a door here. I'm going to make the roof with cyan concrete stairs, and here I'm going to make a kind of a bridge with rails. And finally, this is the final result. I know I keep saying that all the scenarios look beautiful, but this one turned out very similar to the series, and that's why my score will be 10 out of 10. Comment what you thought here below, because now we're going to transform the last character, who is going to be the VIP. And since he wears black clothes, nothing better than the mob, I'm going to transform him into being the Wither Skeleton. And that's why I'm here inside a fortress to find him. And there's one in front of me, so I have to get close. Grab him, I got him. Now I just need to put him inside the transformation machine. And here is his 3D model. So I'm going to erase all the parts of the body. I'm going to start making the VIP from his feet, create a cube on top to be the rest of the leg. Now select everything and duplicate. Now I'm going to make a cube on top to be his torso. Make a layer on top to be the jacket. To the side, I'm going to make the left arm. In addition to that, I'm going to add a small detail like this. Now select everything and duplicate it to the side. I'm going to create 2 cubes like this to be his head, and you can see that he doesn't have eyes. This is because the mask will come on top. So I didn't need to make his eyes. The only thing I really need to do is the ear. And here, in front of the face, I'm going to make the mask. Now, make her nose. I spent a good amount of time making the horn of the mask. So I don't have to repeat all of this again. I'm going to duplicate it to the side. And this is how the VIP looked here in Minecraft, guys. This turned out very cool, especially his mask. I really liked it, and I chose to make this VIP precisely because of the mask. It has more details. I really liked it. Even though the 3D modeling of his body was very simple, I think what made it better was the mask. And that's why my score for this character is 8 out of 10. I don't have much to say about the animation, because his animation is very similar to Guhan's and also the guards, but what I'm curious to see is if he can beat the doll. So let the battle begin. Look, the doll attacked, but since he is an Enderman, he also teleported. Go, VIP, win against him. Win against the doll VIP, and the VIP also lost. And that means the doll is the strongest character of all. But before I forget, let's build the habitat where the VIP will be trapped. And the idea I had is to rebuild the room where he watches the rope jumping game. So I'm going to start by replacing this floor with cyan concrete powder. The walls I'm going to make with calcite block. Right here in the middle, I'm going to make a small island, and on it, I'm going to place a sofa. As a decoration, I'm going to place several different types of plants. I think this is good. Finally, I'm going to fence this with glass panes. And the final result of this scenario turned out simply incredible. In my opinion, this scenario is the most beautiful I've built in this video, and that's why the score for it will be 10 out of 10. Comment here below in the comments which scenario you like the most, and take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel and watch this video that is appearing here on the screen. You will like it very much. Go there, click on it,